Blog Talk Radio. Gee whiz, I just love listening to that beat. So snazzy. Today is Monday, August 1st, 2016, and this is Foxology Today. I am Silver Ray Fox, your host. And yay, it's Master Your Mindset Monday. I'm always so excited and especially happy on this particular Monday. Do so enjoy doing this show and these topics, because it's always such wonderful stuff. But stuff I wish I had learned a lot earlier in life. Problem with that is, though, that stuff we talk about we don't learn until later in life in most cases. And I guess, life is teaching us and training us and giving us lessons all along the way. And if you're really paying attention, you'll be offered up some significant information. I know that's the case in my case, ideas and concepts and guidance, inspiration, processes. And as I said before, lessons for us. It's so true. I know in many cases I've learned this stuff the hard way because I really wasn't paying attention at the time. But when I look back, you know what they say, it's 20/20 vision. But, here I am, and what do I do with it? Giving some of that information to you. But I'll say this, with change, for instance, something happens in life. Things go one way or another unexpectedly, suddenly. And our first response may be frustration. It could be anger, resistance, fear. And in the midst of all of that cloudy mindset, a lot of overwhelming emotions, too. And we can miss that the change may be the bridge to something bigger and better for us, something greater. And although change is hard to embrace, we can at least initially grip it, let ourselves flow through it rather than battling and resisting or being dragged through it. I know I'm a no-drama kind of girl when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I want to take the easiest route, so I try to reason it out and look at it and turn it upside down, inside out, and see what I'm supposed to do with it. Today, my radio BFF, TV host, superstar RRR, Cassandra McShepard, joins me for another very dynamic conversation on this very subject. Life is subject to change. Hey, Cassandra.
Silver, it's always a pleasure to have these conversations where we consider things and look at ways to grow, to see ourselves in new and hopefully expanding ways. It's always a good thing, always.
Yeah, it's one of the parts of our bodies that we don't mind getting bigger and fatter. Our mindset.
Say that. Leave my hips and thighs alone, but let me blow my mind, please.
I know that's right. Exactly. Well, we're talking about change today, and I titled this show, Life is Subject to Change, Roll with It or Run from It, because we really will have one tendency or the other, and I think most of us don't enjoy change, especially when it's abrupt. Some things we can anticipate or know or even navigate, but a lot of times change, we do want to go hide somewhere and just not deal with it, or a fear will stymie us and we just do want to run. But of course we know, and what we'll be talking about is some of that, but also the fact that one of the best things to do is try to get our heads ready for it, shaped for it, wrapped around with it, and try to roll with it. I did an acronym for us to go through because I just like them, and I think that they're easy to remember, and it is using the word change. So we're going to start by talking about one of the things we recognize about change is that it's calibrating. It's a calibration process. And, I had a very interesting thought. Of course, I think so many of my thoughts are interesting. But I had an interesting thought with this when I thought about change calibrating. When we're sometimes on our computers or our laptops or our phones or whatever device, and that little circular thing keeps going around and around until it gets us to where we want to be. And if you're looking at your screen, you can see all of these messages just going lightning fast at the bottom of the screen, telling us what it's doing and what it's trying to get to so it can get us ultimately to the point where we want to be. And I thought about that is so relevant when we talk about the process. It's much like that, and there's a lot of things going on within the dynamics that we can see, and there are also a lot of dynamics going on, often stuff we don't see, that are instrumental to us having a successful process, a successful journey through the change. And so I think we have to realize that is the case. We can't just jump from A to Z and have things be all right. And sometimes we try to do that. I've done that. I've tried to skip some processes and get to where I want it to be, but it doesn't work. What you find out is that you're going to end up taking some steps backwards or setback of some sort while you're trying to make it go faster than it should. A lot of times there is a very natural and normal, well, maybe not natural and normal in the sense of what we think of natural and normal, but there is a natural order that often gets us to the opposite side of the abruptness of the change. What say you?
I think that as you talked about in your opening, that a change is inevitable. It is. It's happening all the time, all around us. Everything about the world as we know it is subject to change, is guaranteed to change. And so I think that we, in our thinking, because as you stated, and I find it to be true as well, even with myself, most of us are not comfortable with the idea of things changing, albeit we are in some of us situations that are not comfortable. We still prefer the dangers or the discomfort of the known versus the unknown. But I think, like so many things, Silver, it really has to do with a fundamental belief. Mine, of course, is that I am adored by the world that I live in, by the universe, by God, and all of that. And while change might be uncomfortable because I don't know what's coming, and to know what's coming is just, it's a fool's dream anyway. But because I don't know what's coming is to learn how to ride, just to learn how to observe, if you will. Keep my eyes open and ride it. And trusting, again, like I said, and I can do that, trusting, because my fundamental belief is that everything's always working out for me. So, but yes, change is definitely something that needs, I think, consideration, because many people get all bent out of shape, waste time and stress their bodies and jack their faces on something that they realize, oh, that wasn't so bad after all.
It's true. And that's a beautiful mantra that you live by. I think anybody who may be challenged with change right now, that would be a beautiful thing to wake up in the morning and go to bed with at night, that things are always working out for me. I know a lot of times it's very hard to embrace saying something that you don't really feel, but the thing is, the more you say it, the more it is going to resonate with you, the more you're going to believe it, and the more it'll help you let go of the anxieties and the fears and all the other discomforts that you feel, and you will start believing toward that and working toward that. I love that. The H, I've got hang on, because you might feel disconnected with things for a bit, or disillusion, or maybe just dissed in some way or another, depending on what the change is. But you gotta hang on, and sometimes, again, I think things that we say, Cassandra, because we've been there a time or 2 or 3 or 100, we know what we're talking about. And so somebody that this may be new to thinking, how do I hang on to it? Well, it just means facing it. It means looking it, dead in the eye. It means grabbing the bull by the horns and realizing that it's here. It's all in my face. It's all in my life. It's all up in where I live and what I'm doing. So what else am I going to do with it but grab hold of it, hang on, and then keep telling yourself things always work out for me, and keep following the process. It doesn't mean that you do it mindlessly. None of this means mindlessly when we're talking. There's no magic to the things that we talk about in Master Your Mindset. We're actually talking about a lot of very strategic types of thought processes that eventually get you to the point where you are all right, or you can see things more clearly, or do things in a lot more of a clearer way. So it's not like hang on and like you're swinging on to the next thing, and it's okay. There's some processes in between.
This is mindful creation. There is nothing that's lightweight or frivolous about this. These are incredibly powerful keys by which to live. And I know we're only in the H, but when I think about the hanging on or holding on, or as I say, learning how to ride it as an observer and not taking everything so personally, I wonder if we could just embrace the whole word now, which is change, and maybe we might change our minds about change. Change our definitions about change. If we were to call it something, if we were to call change an adventure, well, that sounds like more fun. We pack snacks for adventures. Yeah. Change, however, feels like, But a trip or an adventure or an opportunity, you get dressed for opportunities. If we could simply change our definition of the word change, then we could begin to see it different. And again, and because we react to the power or definitions that we give to things. They are really nothing other than what we think they are. Nothing other than what we think they are.
I agree with you 1,000%. Some of my most difficult challenges in life, people have told me afterward or even during, you just don't look like you're going through anything. And it's because I do what you just said. I dress up for stuff. I'm not trying to look like I'm having the most difficult challenge of my lifetime. I don't think it's necessary to look like you're being dragged through it. I don't think it's necessary to give the world your deepest anxiety or discomfort with it. I don't think that that's going to bring me what I need as I go through it. So, I try to look kind of hot in most cases and ready for the world.
Yes. It brings more of the same. We are like magnets, and we attract to us what we resonate. It can be no other way. And so when you are looking like your problems, you're attracting more problems to look like. When you're talking about your problems, you're attracting more situations to confirm what you're talking about, because the answer is always yes. And that does not change.
You're right. That's true. Well, let's move on to the A, since we got 4 more letters we got to get through in a few minutes. Adjusting, and that, that's easy for understanding. Adjusting can take time, a little time, a lot of time, medium-sized time, but adjusting does take time, again, depending on if you were thrust into the change or if you navigated the change. Either way, there is an adjustment period, and you have to give yourself time to deal with the emotions of all of that, or the environment of it, or whatever situational factors may be involved, just know that it takes a minute to get all of that to feel comfortable once again to you.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right. I'm gonna hold my comments back because we have some letters to get through. So I'll go on. I'll wait. You go on.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much it as far as adjusting. Adjusting takes time, and just remember that in the course of it. Even little things, it still takes a period of time to get it to the place where you wake up and you think, and you feel like you can breathe. The end, I know you'll like this, Cassandra. I'm going to let you go ahead on this. And that's the fact that negative attitudes, negativity, does not help you get through it. Fearing it, cursing it, blaming, hating, running from it, none of that is going to service you in any kind of healthy way. It may be feeling like for some folks, the most natural thing to do in the process. You want to cuss somebody out, you want to, blame somebody, you want to hate, the world and everything that's in it and all of that, and you just want to go hide or end it or whatever the case may be. Don't. For God's sake, don't. It's just not the way to view it. You said it so well just a couple minutes ago, and you just may want to say it again. It may be an opportunity, be an adventure, and that is the best mindset to go forward in it.
It is so, it can be challenging to really take a look at ourselves. I think some people never want to really look that deep. But what we're talking about is grown folks' business, and that's an inside job. This is not for kids. And grown folks do take a look at themselves. You find yourself approved because there is no wrong. There's just things you don't know yet. But to take a look at yourself can be the most incredibly freeing thing. Negativity, negative thoughts, negative outlook, negativity on any level is one of the most damning things that you can do to your life. No one ever need deny you, deprive you, strip you, or take anything from you if you have negative thoughts, because you will take care of cursing your own existence, your own life in every way on every day that you hold or have and hold a negative thought. So then again, I'd say, what is a negative thought? It is anything less than something that is loving. You talked about being angry and raging and screaming and cursing, but telling the same sad story is also a negative thought. Seeing yourself as a victim is a negative thought. Again, I encourage people to just think about this. The answer is always yes. But we ask the questions with our whole lives. And so if you can't be positive, be quiet. If you look at something and you have nothing positive to think on, look away or close your eyes until you train or change your mind. Negativity it's hell. It's hell in your skin. It's hell in your mind. And it is really the thing. I mean, we should do a whole conversation on this alone, Silver, because it is toxic. I say bless negative people and get away from them. Don't enter into negative conversations. You cannot look at, even when you look at something that you say you want, and you say, I want this because I don't want that, the thing that I don't want, the thing that you don't want, you've got so much energy around it that, again, that's where you're focusing your energy, and the answer is yes. So we really need to take a look at ourselves. Stop making the same negative noise. Check those negative thoughts, and maybe just be still for a minute to give ourselves a break so we can attract something other than the negativity that we might find ourselves in.
So right. So right. Well, the G, Cassandra, I said in part of the information I wrote about the show, maybe there's a rainbow on the other side. So the G, for the G I have, maybe there's gain, maybe there's good, maybe there's greater on the other side of change. And often, I know too many people can attest to the fact that either that's what they were shooting for or they didn't see it coming, but it sure did happen. Sometimes the calibration process may not look real clear, but with your putting one foot in front of the other, with your faith, with your positive attitude, find on the other side, you look back and think, boy, I didn't see this coming, but I'm sure glad that it did happen this way, because look what it has afforded me now. Look where I am now. It could be in any number of situations. It could be a move. It could be a job. It could be a relationship. Too many things to even attempt to mention what the cause or situation, circumstances may be. But depending on how you want to look at it, how you want to face it, if you want to believe that there's a rainbow on the other side, you better believe that there can be greater once you get through it.
I used to have a talk radio show. You know that very well. We used to do that together. And then after about 5.5 years came change. The show was canceled. And I did not have any kind of degree in journalism or broadcasting or anything. And so how could I hope to get another job in this field? It was a blessing and a fluke and a miracle that you saw me in that job in the beginning. That, again, is another story. But I used to have this job, and then it changed. And I, by the grace of God and being where I am in this process called life, understood a few things. First of all, I cannot lose anything that is mine. So that, to me, says that this thing had obviously run its course. Secondly, and this is incredibly important, I don't need to manipulate or effort the universe to do anything. So unlike a lot of people who knock on doors and network and stress and press, I didn't do any of that. I just went to my journal and I began to change my mind from being a radio person to a TV person. Why not? I could write down anything in my journal. I went for about 15 months in between. Change landed me on a network TV show. Now, I did an AM urban radio talk show that had, good following, but nothing like network TV show. And so change put me in a place that, again, I did not, when you look at the things that the world holds to be true, have in place, that's degrees in journalism or broadcasting or even time spent in those arenas. But I grew myself to be worthy or accepting or to see myself. I did not spend my time lamenting. Now, granted, at first when the show ended, I was a little miffed and I went through the natural paces, but it did not take very long. And I instead of going and trying to make anything else happen, I just changed the way I saw myself, and I grew in that arena, and it was so much better on the other end. And I bless the radio step because it was part of this preparation, as all of our lives and all of our places and paces are part of our becoming. And so nothing should be cursed or scorned or fretted about. It simply is where you have to be to get what you need to go where you're going. It is change, and it is always happening. But how you ride it is whether you can do it, with your sanity or in a straitjacket.
Mm-hmm. And I know that has a lot to do with your mantra, because what you did not say in that commentary just now is that opportunity came right to your door as a special invitation for you to be a part of
the way I wanted it to be, out of the blue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Out
And it was
of
a
the
beautiful
blue.
thing. And that's a perfect type of way to express what we're talking about, because there could possibly be some really good stuff on the other side of that change that feels so uncomfortable at this point. Our last letter. Yeah, indeed. Our last letter is eventually. Eventually, you'll have your new normal. And I'll just say something quick because we're down to about 5 minutes, and you please add, Cassandra. But eventually can be, I almost hesitated to write eventually, because what is eventually? It means, after I pondered it for about 20 seconds, I said it is what it is, eventually. I don't know what that eventually time frame is for anybody. I can't say. But I do know, again, if you keep your head in the right direction, eventually you will get to what's, that new catchphrase, new normal, whatever that is for you, that place where, again, you can breathe, where if you feel okay, where you feel this is right, where you feel that things have worked out for you.
I think about the word eventually, and I'm going to step on a limb here. I think about the events that go on in our minds, which can be any number of things, depending upon how healthy you are or what you focus on. But the event of you settling into gear where you understand who you are and whose you are and your place, your rightful place, as you settle into that is quite an event. And when that happens, and it happens not by chance, but by decision and by practice, event is the situation that enables things to become fully actualized. That is exactly the position, and it is a position where you're okay with you, and your happiness is unconditional. Your health and state of mind is unconditional. It is what it is, conditions notwithstanding. So you don't need a job to be happier. You don't need this. You don't need to be in a relationship to know that you are loved. You reach that situation, that state, and that place on your own, and then things can come to you freely, and you recognize your rightful place within situations. The only thing that stands silver between us and anything that we want is information, some learning, some time, and the choices that we make. And the choices that we make are critical, because if we don't keep our heads, if we don't keep our wigs on straight, then when the opportunity comes and we're sitting in the corner looking all cross-eyed and crazy, and people say, "Oh, she can't do TV. Her wig is lopsided and she look crazy." If you keep your wig on straight, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Well, I love that. I love that. Well, we're down to under 2 minutes, and I just want to run through this real quickly, but I love that. Roll or run with the change. Calibration process is necessary. Hang on. There is an adjustment period. Negative thinking is not going to help you. Remember, there's good and gain and perhaps greater on the other side, and something Cassandra just said that I thought was so profound. Your eventually is an event, and it's a special place in the process of your change. Cassandra, quickly give out your website and TV show information.
The website is CassandraMcShepherd.com. There you can find out all sorts of things that you might not want to know about me, but it's there. It's there. You can, if you'd like to spend your mornings with me, tune in to Fox6Now.com, and that's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the show streams live, and always first Mondays for Master Your Mindset Monday right here with Silvery Fox. And all that information is on your website. Is that correct?
It is. And thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to go ahead and wrap because I only have a few seconds to do that. Thank you for your time, my sister and friend and radio BFF. We'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank all of you for listening. Want to wish you a great day. Be good, be blessed, be awesome. Talk to you next time.